What's the male to female percentage in chat? Hard to say. Hard to say. So, yeah, can we get like a girl, a like lady, dude, or other for poll? Can we get like a lady, dude, other poll going? Because I want to see. I want to see. I'm curious. Let's get ration. Wow, ice cream sandwich! Thank you so much for the raid! Hello! Welcome, raiders! Let's go! Let's go! So, let's see this poll. Let's see this poll. Let's see. I assume Maple is working on it. Or someone, one of the mods. Yeah, let's go! Okay, so far it's mostly dudes. Oh man. Oh, we're gonna get ratioed. We really are. No. Don't be sorry for your freaking gender. What kind of monster would I be? What kind of monster would I be? 10 whole girls. About as ratio to STEM careers. I mean, it depends. It does depend on the STEM career, you know? Like there are areas of engineering that are a little bit more even. Biomed weirdly is fairly even compared to others, because it's so closely tied to medicine, and there are actually a surprisingly high number of women in medicine. As for, you know, robotics specifically, it's pretty low. It's pretty low. It's not great, but, you know, whatever. I don't think the solution is like I've said before, I think that it's a complicated solution, and I am not interested in solving it as a primary problem, if that makes sense. Electrical and wireless systems, the ratio has more females. Interesting. So I my specialization was electrical, but the program I was in was a robotics program. So it was a pretty bad ratio still, but there were actually a couple of girls in my like electrical only classes. So honestly, that makes sense. I don't know a lot of lady EEs, but that's mostly because I've only worked in robotics as a discipline, and that's mostly dudes. But what if all the whammin'? Buki, why did you write it like that? Why did you write it as whammin'? 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 Your only female coworkers are PMs. Oh man, yeah. We have one project manager, but she's on maternity leave. Who's a girl. Whammin'? I can't get over that. I love it so much. But the song said chicks dig giant robots. I know. I do think that they do. I do broadly think that giant robots do appeal to women. I don't really know. You said women because there's no women on the internet. It's true. Well, yeah. I mean, it's complicated. Peepo Smix, welcome! Thank you for the follow. As I've said before, I think most of the initiatives that exist to get women into tech exist to make tech labor cheaper for companies, and not because they're, like, concerned about women being left out. And I personally think, and maybe this is controversial, that it's not the biggest problem in the world if tech fields don't have as many women. Lucat, welcome! Thank you for the follow. I don't think that's a problem in and of itself. And I also think that often, women leave tech earlier than men because tech is like really fast-paced and kind of unpleasant, and because it's harder to jump back into it because it's incredibly competitive after having a baby. And I kind of think that maybe the solution to that is to make tech a less miserable place to be, and not to like try and specifically like it feels like fixing. Like you're collecting, like you're putting a bucket instead of fixing the leak, you know? Like I think that specifically trying to, well, Slarty Bartfast, it is more complicated than that. Statistics show gender proclivities, kind of. They show them differently in different countries. And if you look at broad inequality indices in those countries, the gender proclivities tend to kind of correlate with them, such that it really does seem like there is a component of what are women allowed to dream about in a country, and what do women dream about in that country? And that makes sense to me. I mean, people are malleable. But I also don't think that that is a big problem in and of itself. Like, I think that obviously we should strive to, you know, make the best use of the people who are best at the best things. But I don't think that hostility towards women is as big a part of the equation as people who are outside of tech think. I think that at this point, one of the biggest problems is that tech as a field is just kind of hostile to people as they age. And this is another thing. A lot of women go into tech. Something people don't realize is that that ratio gets much worse after you have a kid. So tech is kind of just not a place where you can be a parent, and so you have to kind of be willing and able to leave parenting to someone else, or you have to leave tech. And so, like, I think that a lot of what would help is not getting women into tech, it's keeping them there by making tech less hostile to men and women, right? Making it possible to take parental leave, you know, for men and women. I do think that this is the most important thing. Yeah, tech is 110% misery most of the time. I think that broadly, if we make it a less hostile field, it will just be better. And I think that that is kind of the most important thing. That is kind of the most important thing if we're going to reform something. I think getting women into tech, trying to get girls interested in tech, that's not really the problem. In programming now, there is almost parity between the genders, at least in America, at the college level. The problem is not women getting into tech. The problem is people staying in tech. And it's just kind of for both biological reasons on average and also just for the way that we talk about things, it's much easier to be a kind of, well, I'm at the office all the time and I can't be near my kids' dad than mom, partially because of things like, well, you know, you have to be feeding the babies, and if your body feeds the babies, it's going to be much harder to stay in tech work, you know? Like, for example, what would I do at my office? I guess I could get them to convert an office into like a wellness station for me. And I could bring my baby sometimes. But like, yeah, it just wouldn't work very well. And so, I don't know. I think broadly, the problem is that it is a kind of a hostile field. And it's pretty hard. It's pretty hard. So I think that if they focused on parental leave and making the industry a little bit more human-oriented, you would get better retention, and that's the problem anyway. Anyway, that's what I think about that. And I don't know if that's useful to people, but after years of being forced to... So I think that after years of being forced to... for a field that's getting replaced by AI in the next few years, yeah, keep dreaming, lunchtime. This is the thing. If you don't work in this field, it's very easy, I think, to be like, oh, it's getting completely replaced by AI. But the thing is, that snake is already eating its own tail. I have witnessed AI for coding, at least, getting worse, even just in the time that I've been using it. So, like, I do not think that it is going to replace people anytime soon. It may be, like, a productivity aid. People may be expected to do more, but the nature of capitalism is the expectation of infinite growth. You theoretically need to be producing more every single year because you need growth, not just consistency. And therefore, I do not think that AI will replace us. I think that we will just be expected to have higher output because of AI. Anyway, I also think that there will be significant AI decay unless we find a way to take care of that. But I do think that people are being very silly when they say like, oh yeah, AI is gonna replace programmers in few years. Like, no, they're not, goofus. But that's okay. That's okay. You can be silly about some stuff. So, yeah, AI good at regurgitating and being a good co-pilot. Yeah, and we already have like mounting goals. You don't need growth unless your competition is growing. Oh, you do though. That's how corporations work, right? Think about a share. A stable share is not traded, right? Capitalism and markets for secondary markets for stocks and such, that demands growth. This is the nature of how capitalism works. And so, whether you like that or you don't, BX, thank you so much for the Prime sub. Whether you like that or you don't, yes, consistent growth is demanded of corporations. That is how they function. So, number gotta go up. And for that reason, I think that's something that boosts productivity. They'll not be like, oh, okay, now we can maintain the same numbers just by, right? They're definitely gonna be like, okay, great, now you can produce more. So anyway, I don't really want to talk about the pros and cons of it specifically, because that feels like kind of too big of a conversation for a silly little guy on a Twitch stream. Oh, I'm just some idiot. But I do think broadly that people are very concerned about getting women into tech, and that often falls on the women at a company. My Wacky Brain, thank you so much for the gifted sub.
My Wacky Brain gifted a tier 1 sub to Max Nami.
Yeah. So thank you so much, my Wacky Brain. But yeah, the robot too small for this big convo. But personally, I kind of resent the movement itself because it feels like companies just trying to cheapen the labor of engineers, which I think is kind of bad for me personally. And also, on top of that, personally, I hate how many times I have had to, in school, and then in college, and now in work, had to do like little fundraising things or like show face at an event where I have to be like, come on, girls, dream big. You too could have like a tiny cubicle and spend all day in the darkness coding. I just get very sick of it, and I've had to do it literally since I was a kid. They have just been trotting me out since I was a baby in front of people. And like, we're just gonna be paid less, you know? Not like, they're just trying to flood the labor market with more labor. That's the only reason they want more girls in tech. And like, because like, listen, a huge company, they're not invested in like, a little girl should be able to pursue her dreams. They don't care. They don't care. Yeah, they're like, now you too can program in the ghoul den. Make us currency, you know? And so like, I just hate it. Ellie the propaganda bot. Yeah. So, I'm pretty sick of that. I'm pretty sick of doing
God.
that.
Ellie, the propaganda bot.
I gave you a role model. Please respond. So now, I just don't care. I just don't care. I hate having to do that. I hate this push. I hate having to pretend it's authentic. I hate when people get excited hearing, oh my God, my least favorite question. You'll meet a certain kind of guy who's like really supportive, who's like, wow, I love that you're into tech. And then he's like, what got you into tech? How'd you get into tech? And it's like, I don't know, man. Do you ever ask a dude that question? Like, I hate how much of my time when I'm doing the like, yeah, girls dream big, just like Marie Curie, whatever. I hate when I'm doing that I also, people are always like, wow, how'd you get into robotics? And it's like, I don't know, man, robots are freaking cool. Like, what am I supposed to have, like a sob story? Like, my father died for robotics and he whispered to me as his last words, you must continue my mission. Like, bro, they're just cool. I just like robots, man. I don't freaking know. I hate it, yeah. So I always just say it's cool, but it is frustrating. And I get a lot of people asking like, oh, like, can you tell my daughter that it's going to be okay for her? Can you tell my daughter that she's going to do great? And it's like, I don't know if she's going to do great. I don't know if it's going to be okay for her. This is like kind of a scary, miserable field sometimes. And like, I had some pretty unpleasant experiences with it sometimes. I like it. I chose it because I like it, and I think it was worth it for me. But like, I don't know your freaking daughter, man. I'm not gonna like tell her what to do with her life. Just, Jesus. Anyway, so that's, Uncle Ben came to me in a vision, said I should be in tech. So anyway. Yo, now you want to ask a man what got you into VTubing? Well, what got you into VTubing is a good question because no one grew up thinking VTubing is cool. No one grew up thinking that because VTubing hasn't been around long enough, you know? People who grew up thinking VTubing was cool, they're like babies still. So like, they're not old enough to be VTubing on twitch.tv legally. So, well, I had a dream one day I will build my perfect robot husband. Yeah, no. So... Yeah, how'd you get into hobby? Hobby killed my entire family. I always dreamed of being an anime woman. Exactly. Oh, what a future to have children looking forward to becoming VTubers. Good God. So, anyway, I don't know. I don't know if that's interesting to anybody. I've talked about it a little before. But yeah, no, broadly, I think that you should pursue what's interesting to you. I don't think there's anything inherently great about tech. This is maybe more dicey. We'll see if I get in trouble for this. I think that if there is a problem, because people say like, oh, well, women should be able to be programmers. Women should be programmers more because programming is so well paid. And it's like, well, then make everything else better paid, you know? Everyone has a story. People need to understand.
But people need to understand sometimes the story is just that thing over there. I like that thing.
Yeah.
People just set expectations way too high in their head before even interacting with others.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. So, I think at that point, we should just pay, like, nurses and teachers more. I don't know. Like, I don't think the solution to that problem is, like, we should make them all be engineers. Maybe they don't want to be. Maybe they don't like it. And furthermore, nurses and engineers are, both, like, similarly hardworking. They work similar numbers of hours, and they need to know a similar amount of, like, hard technical information. And so I think that they should just be paid a similar amount. Anyway, yeah, exactly. Pay everyone a living wage. How about we do that? And then we don't care if people want to be engineers or not, right? I think that would be way better. Anyway, do I want to hear a joke? Always I want to hear a joke. Yeah, they shouldn't have to be a travel nurse to make a living wage. Exactly. It's messed up. You should be allowed to, like, stay somewhere and build a family. You studied a lot, you know? Wait, Ellie, don't get political? Yeah, whoops. Too late. Yeah, when they find out engineering isn't like Tony Stark. Yeah. I got into engineering from Wallace and Gromit, which is, I think, why I'm like this. So... Do we need more sappy propaganda for male nurses? Oh my god, yes. We should make, like, the 2 male nurses go out into schools and be like, you too, dream big, boys. You could also be a nurse. God, it's so annoying. You wish academia got paid more. Yes, exactly. Academia should be paid more. So, anyway. Yeah, the politics of not wanting to starve and be homeless while being in, like, some of the most important jobs in our society, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, anyway. That's what I gotta say about that. Lucky you, Capybara-san. Lucky you. So, I love Wallace and Gromit so much. You'll pay you to go to school? Gosh dang. Wish we had that. We do not. We don't have that kind of luxury here. We pay a lot of money to go to school. Yeah, started watching it for your love of cheese. You're still paying your student loans? Well, good luck, Control Alt Defeat. I'm really sorry. Yes, we need to go to the moon, Gromit. We need to get the cheese. So good. I love those movies. So, after 2 days in the desert sun, my skin began to turn red. After 3 days in the desert fun, I was looking at a riverbed. And the story it told of a river that flowed made me